My name is Riley Sheehan, and I'm 18 years old. And as a college student, I use technology all the time. I use it when I do my homework, in class, and even in my free time.
I'm Eric Hayes, age 19, and I have like a phone, two computers, and one TV.
I'm Philip Vincent. I am 30 years old. I think I use technology pretty much constantly between cell phone, social media. I've got a desktop, TV. I have a TV in every room in my apartment, so pretty high level of technology usage.
I use technology constantly. If I'm not on my phone, I'm either on my laptop or watching TV. I'm almost always doing something that requires technology.
I use technology probably more than I can count. I know on Instagram my average is like an hour and 30 minutes a day, and I'm on my computer doing like homework or other things. So, like, most of my day, I feel like I'm on technology.
How much time? I there isn't very much time in my day where I'm not using technology between teaching. I teach college classes where I use the computer. As soon as I leave class, I pull my phone out and start looking at what happened while I was, in class. I come back to my office, I check email. All of my work happens on the computer, and then I go home, download a podcast, listen to that on my way home, and then get inside, turn on the TV. So it would be hard for me to come up with a time in my day where technology's not being used.
Yes to all of them, but I really try not to use technology while I'm driving unless I'm looking up directions or changing my music.
I never usually use technology while I'm driving or walking, but I do use it in my spare time, and I have a lot of spare time because I don't do a lot of things.
If it's homework I really dread doing, I usually put it off by using my phone, but sometimes I also look ahead at other assignments. So, regardless, I usually put off doing something by using technology as another way to avoid it.
I put off tasks, important tasks, quite a bit to use technology. It's a really easy distraction, and since I use it to do tasks as well, it's easy to get off track when doing those things.
Um, I'm usually pretty good, but when I leave class after I'm done teaching, I'll come to my office and I won't immediately dive into work, but I'll browse something dumb on the internet for a little bit, like on Reddit or some other website. So a little bit, and it's a little tough to stay fully engaged with work 100% of the time when you can instantly just open a tab and switch over to something and just start reading articles or something that's not relevant. So it's a little bit of an issue, but not a huge problem for me personally.
I think technology benefits me because anything that I want to know, the answer is at the tip of my fingers. And I also think that it makes a lot of things more efficient and makes it easier to get things done.
Technology benefits my life because it's just so much easier to get information for like schoolwork or anything I want to know, and it's a really easy way to be entertained. I don't need a lot of things to like play video games, watch TV.
The first thing I can think about is I'm in constant contact with my relatives who are far away. My family is really spread out. We have a Facebook message group where all of us are in it. We can quickly share any news or anything that's on our mind in that Facebook group. Everybody sees it at the same time. I'm in much better contact with them than I ever was before that technology exists, where pretty much you had to call them on their landline, and if they were around at all to talk to them. I didn't talk to them very much before, and now I do. In terms of working, I'm a lot more productive than I would be without the internet. So imagine, if you will, trying to do math without any internet, without Wikipedia, without Google. You've got to have a textbook that covers the exact subject that you're interested in. Now, if I want to use a specific formula, I'll just type it into Google. It gives it to me instantly, and I can use it. So If I've forgotten what some theorem says, just Wikipedia, look it up really quickly. So that by itself has saved me hours and hours of time doing research in graduate work. So that by itself has transformed the way my work gets done. My advisors in graduate school had to type everything up on a typewriter. Can you imagine having to do all those formulas and equations on a typewriter? Half of their time writing a dissertation was devoted to just that, you know, part of the technology. For me, it's not a problem at all. I can just type up anything I want really quickly. It just takes a few minutes. So I'm actually able to do a lot more that's actually productive um, rather than just wrangling with technology all the time.
I think it's a combination of the two. I think that technology has so many different uses that depending on how old the user is, kind of depends on whether or not it has good or bad effects to it. I think that the older the user is, the more useful technology can be, but the younger they are, the more negative impacts come with it.
I think overall technology is pretty good for society, but when it gets you too distracted from the things you do, when it's sort of like an addiction, it can be pretty bad for individuals and I guess society in a bit smaller portion. But overall, I think it's really good. It's easy to find information.
From an economic standpoint, technology is almost unambiguously a good thing in terms of productivity. Like I mentioned, you can get a lot more actual productivity done in the same period of time with a computer than you could with a typewriter and a textbook. So, from that standpoint, it's clear technology is a good thing. Um, in my personal life, I love it. I love when I ask, well, who was the actor in that movie? We don't have to sit around and wonder. It wasn't that long ago that we've had to just say, oh, well, I don't know, or look it up in a book or something. Now you can just Google it. It takes 2 seconds. Everybody's got a phone. They can do it. So personally, I love that side of things. I love the extra communication and everything that goes with that. I personally think there are a couple downsides that we should watch out for. One is the fact that we're in constant communication with each other is troubling a little bit for how that might impact children. If you're being bullied at school, that used to stay at school. Now it follows you everywhere you go. If you've got social media, um, we're constantly engaged with a device. It's a little hard to have a normal conversation with somebody if they pull out their phone and just start browsing Facebook or something like that. So it's great. It's great in terms of communication as long as there isn't someone sitting right in front of you who's trying to talk to you. From an economic standpoint, while it's overall clearly an upside to have new technology, the downsides could be that new technologies will disrupt existing labor markets. Self-driving vehicles could disrupt the trucking industry, but that's always happened when personal computers were invented. There used to be people whose whole job was to type things up on a typewriter. They don't have that job anymore. That job doesn't exist anymore. But they found work doing other things in the office that were more productive. So there are some short term negative impacts on certain people who have a career based on an old technology. And long term, we will need to find a way to make that easier for those people. Long term, though, I think that technology is clearly a good thing.
She was the one thing I was afraid to lose. I wasn't afraid to lose anything.
And Thursday night, Michelle Lunford's biggest fear became a reality. Her 17-year-old daughter, Cameron, 3 months away from graduating at Thompson High School, killed. And she's been told texting is why her daughter isn't here.
But she knew not to, because she knew. But she did it this one time, and it cost her life.
This is the image Michelle wants everyone to see, her daughter's car. At this point, it's unrecognizable, except for the student parking pass and the books.
Killed after being hit by a vehicle while crossing the street in the city of Zhongshan in South China's Guangdong province on May 13th. Video footage of the accident was not made available until May 20th. The woman was apparently distracted while talking on her mobile phone, according to surveillance video that shows the woman using her phone while crossing the street. Seconds later, she was hit by a van approaching from the right, sending her to the ground. The driver of a truck approaching her from the left had no time to hit the brakes and drove over the woman after she fell.
In this case, the woman should have taken greater care. She was using her phone at the time, and this is part of the reason the accident happened.
Police said many people often fail to pay attention while walking or driving because they are distracted by their phones. They added that people should pay attention to traffic regulations and put safety first.
Technology. Technology has given us so many ways to connect with others, and knowledge is literally at our fingertips. In today's culture, it's difficult to live and to savor the moments without the voice of technology calling our attention. Whether it's checking Facebook to see how your friends and family are doing, going on Pinterest and pinning those great ideas, even texting your friends or surfing the internet. Technology is all around you all the time.